What we're going to do right now is a swatch palette with these Van Gogh colors that we've got. This is something I do at the beginning of every single set of colors because I want to see what they look like once they're actually put onto paper. So we're going to skip the white because having a white watercolor is kind of useless. If you need a paler version of the color, just water it down on the paper. It's color on white paper anyway, so we can skip the first one we've got here is the permanent lemon yellow. So what I do is I get my brush wet enough to activate the color, go up here into one of the wells, and what I want is a pretty saturated version of this. I'm going to draw one line at the top of this box, fill that in a little bit, and then what I want to do is clean off the brush, make sure it's perfectly clean, no pigment in it at all, and try to create a gradient of this color until the bottom of the box. So this way you get to see what this permanent yellow looks like at its most dense and most diluted. And sometimes when you're painting, you're going to want to use the most opaque version of the color or the most transparent version of the color. Making these little swatch boards shows you what that's going to look like. So we'll move on to the next color. This is a permanent red light. We can use that well up there. As long as we don't mix the colors together there, we're good. Let's do the same process for every single one of the boxes here. Try to blend it out so we see what this permanent red light looks like when it's transparent. Ultramarine deep. Sap green. That line wasn't quite as saturated as I would like. I can still see some of the white paper, so I'm gonna get it denser. A yellow ochre. Azo yellow medium, which is a completely different yellow than the permanent yellow light. That's another good reason to create these swatch palettes, because any set of colors you're going to get is going to have different variations of reds, blues, greens, whatever, and you want to see how they're different from each other. Next, we have a Madder Lake Deep. This is a more bloody kind of red, maybe. I use this for lips a lot. So you can see it's completely different than the permanent red light up top. Here, this is much more orangey, and this is much more purpley. Next, this is probably my favorite color in the kit, the cerulean blue. It's just a very pretty, bright, saturated blue color. Viridian, which is like a greenish blue. It's kind of glowy. It's pretty intense. Probably my favorite color, burnt sienna. It's a brown, but it's a very warm brown. Payne's gray. It is not black, but for all intents and purposes, it's black. I try to avoid using this as much as possible because you don't want to use your darkest color until the very end. You want to leave room to create more shadows and depth, and then in your final detail touches, use your black to create the densest, darkest accents. There's one more step to creating these color palettes, and it's important. It's not essential, but it's important. We want to label each of these colors. They have a nice little box here for you to do that. This is permanent lemon yellow. I can guarantee most of you are going to have better handwriting than I do, but this is where we are. Permanent red light, ultramarine deep, sap green, yellow ochre, Payne's gray, Azo yellow medium, Madder Lake deep, cerulean blue, viridian, and burnt sienna. So there you go. This is my swatch sheet. I'm going to keep it in front of me or off to the side all the time as I'm painting, just so I can refer to the colors that I've got. It's a really useful tool, and it's awesome that it comes with these Van Gogh boxes.